All right, welcome back to Morgan's Beauty Corner. All right, y'all. So today's video is going to be about my roommate story from hell. So let me preface this by saying that this was my first roommate. So the first person that I lived with, and I'm not going to say her real name. We're going to call her Pam. We'll call her Pam. So me and Pam were friends, and at the time I was just getting out of a relationship, and so we decided to live together. I didn't want to live in an apartment alone. I was still scared to live alone, blah, blah, blah. And so we moved in together. And I need to preface this by saying, I got myself into this mess, okay? If I'm really looking back and thinking on it, now as an adult at 30 years old, I knew that this was going to be a bad situation. Number one, we were raised two completely, totally different ways, and that is totally and completely fine. However, I had been to this person's house growing up, and I had seen the absolute chaos that they lived in. And so I knew that I was taking a chance moving in with her, that it could be the same way. Now, this is not to say that, I still didn't love her, because shoot, we didn't really hang out at her place, okay? So fast forward, okay, we moved in together, and the place that we lived in had 2 floors, and both bedrooms were on the top floor. And this is important to preface that both rooms were on the top floor, and we shared 1 bathroom, okay? So at first, nothing really too crazy goes on, except for I'm not dumb, and I have a sense of smell, and I know that you're smoking in the house. I know that you're smoking the green, if you know what I'm saying. And while that, really doesn't bother me, I've never been into it at all. The smell just kind of nauseates me, but more than that, that's not what I want my home to smell like where I'm laying down and sleeping at night. Everybody has a difference of opinion. And had we been more mature and more grown at the time, I think we could have kind of established some ground rules about what was acceptable to each person and kind of write that out the way that you do dorm room style, college style, okay? Like a roommate contract. That didn't happen. So we had established in the beginning that everything was going to be paid down the middle because there were 2 of us, okay? So lights would be 50-50, water 50-50, rent 50-50, so on and so forth. So I would say the first big incident, I've written notes because this has been a long time ago. The first big incident was leaving food everywhere. So the first time that I go to her and I'm like, girl, this just ain't gonna fly. There is literally food everywhere, just leaving plates of, partially eaten food, leaving pots of food on the stove, leaving food in the oven. I'd go to cook something. I remember specifically cooking a meal for my boyfriend for his birthday, going to put the cake I was baking in the oven, and there being leftover miscellaneous food in the pan, because who knows what it is now, because that's probably been months ago that it was put in there. And then there was one time that there was a bowl in the microwave. And this bowl had been in the microwave for so long that it had started to grow like mold, okay? Now, at the time, like I said, we were young. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna eat out, especially when you live alone. You're gonna eat out with your friends, you're gonna go out, whatever. So I can admit that we didn't cook at home a lot, or I didn't. But yeah, food being left around everywhere was the first big thing. The second big thing was we already started to have a problem with the bills. So She could not keep a job to save her life. And I'm still pretty familiar with this person today, and it still stands. So, you know, it's hard to pay your bills when you don't have a job. So this person would have to depend on their parents, well, more their dad, to help them with the bills because they couldn't keep up with what was going on. And so the water bill was in this person's name. And so I remember calling Pam one day and I said, hey, can you meet me at work? I was working 2 jobs at the time. Can you meet me at work and pick up the water bill money and go pay it? Because it was due like the next day, I believe, or 2 days, something like that. And she was like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. Well, this person also didn't drive. So she had somebody drive her out to come and get the money, blah, blah, blah. And from my knowledge, I thought the water bill's paid. No, ma'am. Nay, nay. So if you're familiar with your water getting shut off, it just happens, okay? Like around here in Tennessee, especially in my county, they don't leave no notes, okay? There is no sticker on the door. That's only if your electricity gets cut out. And the town that we lived in was more of like a private community type deal. So anyways, come home from work, you know, you're ready to take that shower. I go to turn the water on and it's not working. So I start like freaking out, you know, I'm turning on the sink and blah, blah, blah. So I call my nanny and I'm like, Nanny, like my water's not working, blah, blah. She's like, well, did you pay the bill? And I was like, well, I gave my part to Pam. And she said, well, it sounds to me like your water's cut off because like little driplets were coming out of the sink, but it wouldn't like full on come on. So I call Pam and I'm like, hey girl, I was like, I think the water's cut off. And she said, oh man, I've been waiting on my dad to give me the money and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, girl, you let our water get cut off? You could have hit me up. I could have gave you the money if you needed to borrow it. Like I would rather just you tell me and you be real with me than for us to not have no dabbling water. And now it's probably going to be a day or 2 before they can get back out here and cut the dabbling water on. Ugh, that was really annoying to me. So then the third thing that comes up is just being completely nasty, like dirty, dirty, dirty. I mean, when I tell you dirty, I mean absolutely disgusting. I wouldn't go in her room. After 2 months of living with her, I remember standing in the hallway, we're having a discussion about something I can't remember now, but I remember clearly standing in our hallway between our 2 bedrooms. There's like bedroom, bathroom, okay? We're standing in between in the little hallway, okay, at the top of the steps, having a discussion. I'm leaving for work. And she's standing at her bedroom door. And I look in her bedroom door. And I've never seen something like that in my life other than her house, like the house she grew up in. So I'm just like thinking, oh, dear Lord. And I had already started to pick up on, okay, this ain't gonna work, because she was leaving shit everywhere. And I'm thinking, how are we gonna get through a 12-month lease? Like, how are we gonna get through this thing? And already at 2 months in, I'm already hoping, okay, I hope she can't afford this, and I can just get somebody else that I know to move in, because this is already hell. Already for me, this is hell. Just not like buying her own hygiene products. You know, she would always use my hygiene products. My deodorant. You know, my deodorant. I would catch her using my deodorant and I'm like, damn girl, you using my deodorant? So, we're standing there at the hallway. I see her room. I'm like, holy shit. Then we fast forward to, I'm just going to start mentioning, you know, just little bitty things throughout until we get to the explosion. So what leads up to the explosion is bills continuously not getting paid. So everything but the water was in my name, okay? And I'm talking cable. At the time, Wi-Fi was not a thing. I don't remember it being a thing at all. But cable, we had lights, we had, also we had to pay $50 for trash pickup, which wasn't really in anybody's name, but only one time throughout I think we ended up living together a total of 8 months, did she pay. She paid it one time, and that was when we moved in. So, and 50 cut in half is $25 a piece. So, One time she gave me the 25 bucks. And, you know, the thing about it is, you know, just having like people in the house and not letting me know. So I would come home from work thinking I'm in the home alone, and I come in and there's like some random guy that's a friend of hers just chilling in my living room. Okay. So things just keep on just piling up. Her leaving mountains of laundry, just mountains of laundry in the laundry room. I would go in to like try to like put my load that's in the wash in the dryer, and I couldn't even get the dryer door open. Okay, like that bad. Then I start to see on the back porch, we didn't go on the back porch very often. I did start to ask that if she wanted to smoke, that she'd take it outside because I didn't want it in the house. And I started to notice that there were trash bags like down on the other side of the porch. And my neighbor, who was attached to us, come over one day and she said, "Girl, can you please talk to your roommate and have her put that trash in the damn trash bin, because it is causing so many animals to come over here at night." We live in Tennessee, honey. There's coons, there's possums. They'll come out and they're mean. They're not your friend, my dear. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. And this is my first place on my own, so I'm really trying to be like that neighbor. Like, I want to be your friend. I want to be your homie. And Pam, you're stopping us from being homies with our neighbors. They think we're young. They think we're stupid. And of course, when you're young and you are stupid, you don't want anybody to think of you that way. You want them to think of you as grown, mature, calm, and cool-headed. So things are just getting bad. I'm griping to every friend I got. I'm griping to my mama. I'm griping to my sisters. I'm griping to everybody. It's every single day at this point. Every single day I come in and the house is trashed. Every single day I come in and there's someone in there. Every single day I come in and there's like just random shit piled all the way up the steps. Like just, oh my gosh, just horrible, horrible, horrible. And I think it got to the point to where Pam had so much shit in her room that it started to dwindle its way down the stairs, and it started to be left in the living room. And so, you know, when trash starts to, and I'm starting to clean up after you. Like, I don't live that way, wasn't raised to live that way. So I'm cleaning, like, if I'm not at work, I'm at home cleaning. Like, it gets to that point. And so finally, I'm like, okay, I got to sit down with her because this ain't going to work. And I had kept like putting it off because I knew how this person was, okay? I knew that she had a hot head, and I knew as soon as I came to her about it, she wasn't going to handle it like an adult. She was going to handle it like, you know, an out-of-control teenager or something that had just had her phone taken away. So I go to her and I'm like, Pam, like, we've got to start working together as far as these bills and as far as cleaning this house. You know, I wasn't raised this way, and I'm not saying that you were, and I remember saying this thinking differently. And I don't know, leave in the comment section down below if I should have left this out or not. But I said, I wasn't raised that way, and I'm not saying that you weren't either. And that's what I said. So if I shouldn't have said that, leave it in the comment section down below. But I said, I wasn't raised that way, and I know you weren't either, but I cannot live this way anymore. Like, it is really messing with my psyche. Like, I literally don't have time to do anything. All I'm doing is going to work and coming home and cleaning because I cannot live this way. And she just kind of looks at me for a minute. She's like, what are you talking about? Huh? What do you mean, what am I talking about? I said, girl, do you not see? And I didn't pick up anything that day. I waited for her to come home when she was just hanging out with friends. I'm like, look around. This place is a disaster. I said, and not only is all of this a disaster, I said, but your bedroom is a disaster. And, you know, our landlord, when we signed the lease, he can come in and do a walkthrough at any time. And I was like, you know, our landlord, you know, let's call him Billy. I said, Billy could come in and do a walkthrough any time. And if he sees that bedroom, like, that's not going to be good. That's not going to be good. And Pam is like, oh, you know, he has to give us 24-hour notice. I said, girl, you ain't going to be able to clean up all that in 24 hours. Not the way that it should be. I mean, there was shit on the walls. There was food. I mean, you know, and this is just me glancing in the room. when she would like walk out the door or something, or we would be having like a pass-by type conversation. I said, you don't help clean anything. I said, that bathroom, I clean once a week and I do it. You've never cleaned it, not one time. Not only that, but you've never bought toilet paper. You've never bought paper towels. So we have this conversation and it seems like everything's gonna be all right. Okay, we're gonna start working on this. You know, she said that she was starting a job at a gas station and that she was going to be able to help out a little bit more. And I'm thinking, okay, sweet, perfect. So the next incident that I can remember, I'm going to go ahead and say, I know it was around Christmas, okay? And I remember that we moved into these apartments right around my nanny's birthday. So that would have been in June. So now we're at Christmas, okay? And I went to her and said, hey, do you want to pitch in on a Christmas tree? And she's like, oh, I don't have the extra money. And I was like, cool, no problem. I'll do it myself. So I go, and me and my best friend, we go and we pick out a tree and a bunch of decorations, lights, etc. And we start putting up the decorations. Well, when we get home, we're carrying in the decorations. Billy, the landlord, pulls up, okay? And he's like, Morgan, come here. Can I talk to you a minute? And I'm like, sure, Billy, what's up? And he's like, I didn't get your rent. And I said, well, what do you mean? Because I sent you my part. And he said, yeah. He said, but Pam never sent me hers. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's weird. He was like, yeah, and I need your rent today. And I was like, okay, you know, whatever. So I wrote Billy a check right then for the rent. And I said, just saying, Billy, like, if she doesn't give me this part of the rent, like, this is my final straw. And I need to go ahead and preface that by saying, guys, this stuff had continued, okay? Things had continued to build up. And she had started dating someone, okay, who didn't have a job. He was complete and total, just like, big L. He didn't have a job. He didn't, nothing. Like, he literally stayed in the house and played video games from what I seen. And he didn't have any friends either. So, like, it was just him, and he would be there all the time. And so I was like, you know, if she doesn't give me my part of the rent, I have someone, my best friend was actually like, girl, and her family, like, lived really close by. And she was like, girl, I'll move in with you. And I was like, that's all I needed to know. So I'm like, if she doesn't help pay her part, if she doesn't give me her part of the rent, can my best friend move in? Is there any way that we can just like evict her or whatever? And he said, absolutely. He said, as a matter of fact, if she doesn't give you the money tonight, just give me a call, let me know, and I will make an eviction for her. And that's one thing that I'm glad that I was honest to Billy about from the beginning and told him me and this girl gonna be moving in together. And he said, okay, well, I'm gonna put you both on a lease, but you all are gonna be your own, like, individual people. And he said, if, you know, one of you doesn't hold up to the leasing agreement, then you can either find somebody within 10 days to move in, or I will. And so, you know, I knew that he had told us that from the beginning. I just wanted to reiterate that. And I asked him right there, and he said, absolutely. He said, that's what was in the leasing agreement. It's in her lease that if she doesn't pay her rent within 10 days, which the day the rent was due on the day before I talked to Billy. So the rent was due that day, and I would always just forward it from my checking account to his. So I never knew, like, when Pam paid rent or what have you. But this had happened 2 more times previously, and she had just paid her rent. So I told my best friend at the time, I was like, girl, don't get your hopes up, because every time I come to her about this, with, like, Billy wanting rent, she just, you know, handles it. And so 2 days go by, and I don't see Pam. So I call Billy. And I'm like, Billy, I haven't seen Pam. Like, she's not here, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, what do you want me, what would you want me to do? And I said, well, at least give her the 10 days, because that's what's in the lease. And I at least want to be fair to that, because I don't know exactly, what she'll have arranged, And so another day goes by, she doesn't come, and eventually she comes home like nothing has even happened. Comes to the door, she literally takes the bag that she's got this huge duffel bag. She takes the bag and puts it at the door, just tosses it at the door. And I'm like, hey, where have you been? And she was like, oh, I've been camping with Cody, her boyfriend. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, Billy stopped by the other day, and he said that you didn't send him your rent, and he said that if you did not make that payment within 10 days, that he was going to serve you an eviction. And she said, oh, he can't do that. And I said, yeah, it's in our lease. Like, he showed it to me, and he said that if I didn't have nobody that could move in to replace you, that he would. And so, adding up the days, she now has 5 days to pay the rent, okay? And I'm like, so when are you going to be able to pay the rent? And she was like, oh, well, I don't know. I quit my job at the gas station a while ago. I'm like, so you didn't let me know that? And also, this particular week was her week to buy groceries. So we would flip-flop. So one week I'd buy groceries, the next week she would. And I need to preface this by saying that she bought groceries 7 times in 8 months. She bought groceries for our apartment, okay? So if that tells you anything, which honestly, that isn't like something that like bothered me a lot, because like I said, I didn't tend to eat at home very often. Like, usually I'd be going out with my friends or whatever. So that didn't like really bother me that much. What bothered me was you not paying for any hygiene products, any paper products at all. She never bought paper towels. I can't remember her ever once. I was trying to think on this piece of paper and write down a time that I remember her buying toilet paper, shampoo, conditioner, or body soap. And I can't remember her doing it one time. Or tampons. Tampons is the other thing I have written down here where I can't remember her buying them. Which in the beginning, the plan was for us to go shopping together and just split everything down the middle. And then right at the first month is when we had our very first issue. So anyway, so Pam and Cody go up to Pam's bedroom and they shut the door. So me and my best friend are in the kitchen and we're making gingerbread cookies, okay? So we were making gingerbread cookies for the kids in the neighborhood. There was a lot of kids in this neighborhood. We were making gingerbread cookies or whatever. And so we're in the kitchen and I can just start hearing like a thump, like thump, thump, thump. And I'm like, what in God's name are they up there doing? Like, what are they doing? And so about an hour goes by. The thumping went on for probably 25, maybe close to 30 minutes. And Pam comes down the steps. I can hear her come down the steps. And it only sounds like one person. So she comes down. She comes in the kitchen. She was like, I'm going to be leaving. I've called Billy. And so me and Cody are just going to go stay at a campground. And I was like, okay. All right. And so they had been camping for like 5 days. If you remember, like when I asked her where she had been, she was like, oh, we've been camping or whatever. So she was like, we're going to go stay at the campground. And I was like, oh, okay, you know, whatever. Guys, she never came back. She never came back. And you know what? I went up to that bedroom and it was an absolute disaster. The banging that we heard, the bang, 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 okay? It was, I can only think that it was something like banging into the, like there was closet doors that were wood that had huge, they had been beat to shit. They had been beat to absolute smithereens, okay? And Pam never came back for anything in that room. Not the bed, not the dresser, not any of the clothes. And of course, she didn't come back for the trash. Why would she? So days go by. I'm trying to call Pam, like to figure out, like, what are you doing? Like, whatever. At this point, all the bills have already been due in the apartment. And I've already paid them. Okay. They've already been paid. So I'm like, okay, well, me and my best friend had already spoke. And she was like, girl, if I move in, like, I'll just give you the money. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, and at the beginning, I was like, you know, look, we're best friends, so I want to make a roommate contract because I don't want to move in with you and ruin things and, you know, it go bad. And it did. Even with the roommate contract. Never move in with your homegirls. It ends bad. So it takes us days to clean that room, days. I'm contacting Pam, I'm contacting Cody on Facebook, I'm contacting Pam on Facebook, I'm contacting her mom, her dad. Nobody is answering the phone, nobody. And so I literally leave a message to Pam and Cody on Facebook, and I'm like, hey, just letting you know that Julie's moving in, and we're just going to be putting all of your stuff, like we're taking it to the farm store, and of course the trash to the trash. Like, that's what we're doing. Like, you will not answer me, and I'm not leaving your stuff in here any longer, because Julie had literally just been, like, we had been doing like a sleepover, because she didn't obviously want to sleep in there in that bed and whatever. So I had a guy friend of mine at the time, like, take the bed, the mattress, the box spring, they had their bed sitting on the floor. They didn't have like a bed set or anything. And she had like one chest of drawers. And they helped us take all that to the farm store, and we took 49 bags of trash. 49 bags of trash and 7 bags of clothes. 7 bags of clothes and all that trash out of that one bedroom, an apartment bedroom. And so we finally get it cleaned out. We find everything, you guys. We find drugs in there, whatever. So once I finally get all of the apartment cleaned, the drama does not stop here. So one day, my best friend Julie, who I said moved in with me, she was at home. I hadn't got home from work yet. And I get home, and she's like, girl, somebody knocked on the door. I couldn't see who it was, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? And she was like, yeah, it was like a hooded person. And let me preface this by saying that someone had moved in across the street, and her son was like, had gotten in a lot of trouble, and people were like telling us to like watch ourselves, make sure your car's locked, make sure you keep all the doors locked, like really like sketching us out about this kid. And so maybe an hour goes by, and we had just had Papa John's pizza delivered. I'll never forget this, never. Like, this traumatized me and scared the absolute shit out of me. We're sitting there on the couch, you guys, and you hear bang, bang, bang on our front door. So much so, like, in the living room, where we had our couch, right in front of you is a TV, and like diagonal from there is the door. You can see the door like coming out. Okay, they're banging so dang hard. And I look over at Julie, and we look at each other, and we're scared. We're scared. And so I just walk over to the door, and I'm like, yeah. And they're like, open the door. And I said, what do you need? And so I turned my front porch light on, and thankfully, my neighbor next door, that woman did not play. She was from Brooklyn, and she came outside, and she was like, you know, what do you want? What do you need? And he like darted off and ran. And so we were talking out on the porch, and I was like, who was that? And she was like, that was Cody. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, he had a gun in his hand. Now, this woman that lived next to me, she was really bad about like over exaggerating or whatever. So I kind of took it with a grain of salt. Time goes by. That probably happened around Valentine's Day. So I told you that Pam and Cody moved out around Christmas, and this was around Valentine's Day. So around time for me to re-sign the lease, and I renewed the lease. Around that time, it happened again. Okay, but this time it was at my back door, which just happened to be a sliding glass door, so you could see through it. There were blinds, but it still, like, they wouldn't close, so they would stay like open with like little it would leave this much room for sight in between each blind, okay? And the blinds, you know, are like this thin, and they're the long ones. So anyways, one night, yet again, we are sitting there. I remember we're eating a bowl of popcorn, okay? And this shit scared me. Like, just thinking about it, like, ugh. We're sitting there with a bowl of popcorn, and we're laughing, and we're talking about her new boyfriend. And he was like a skateboarder and everything, so we're just like, you know, whatever. And I'm looking at her this way, talking, and straight ahead from me is the sliding glass door. And I see something walk up, and my friend Julie said when I seen the person walk up, she said that all the color went from my face. And she said, I've never seen a look like that. She was like, it was the worst look I've ever seen. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like later on, I was like, what do you mean? She was like, girl, you just look like you had seen a ghost. So I see it walk up, and the lights are off back there. The lights are off in the dining room and the kitchen, but the lights are on in the living room. So I can see the person, I can see them, but I can't make out anything about them. So he walks up, he moves his face like this, and I can't make out who this person is. So immediately I'm like, whatever, I get up. I flick on the lights, and I'm like, what do you want? And I immediately know that it's Cody. And in his hand is a freaking knife, like kitchen knife type deal. So I call the police. I have them come out. They end up finding him. Like behind us is like a bunch of woods and stuff. Back behind our apartments, like on the road. And they end up finding him walking down that road later in the night and call me and let me know that they got him. And they told me that the reason that he said he did that was because that I kicked him out of his place to live. Number one, homie, this wasn't your home at all. No, number two, I didn't kick you out of nowhere. Your girlfriend got you all kicked out because she wouldn't pay the bills. And I was tired of paying for everything. So it scared the shit out of me. I was really young at the time. It made my best friend really scared. And from that point forward, she started to have her boyfriend there all the time. And then things started to go south with her as well. So just, take this as a piece of advice. Even though you may think you know your friends, you really don't until you live with them. Living with them brings out a side of them that you really didn't know. I promise you. And this was my roommate from absolute hell. The worst absolute roommate ever. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And so take this from me, you guys. I know that for all of you all about to, you all just graduated and whatever, and you want a place of your own, do that. But also pick a roommate random, or fill out a questionnaire or something. Don't move in with somebody that you're real, truly friends with, because I've lived with 3 of them, and all 3 of them, it has made our friendship go bad. So just take it as a piece of advice from me. This was the absolute worst. Oh, I forgot to leave out a huge, big part. So Pam, okay, whenever she would, and this is gross, TMI, disclaimer, warning, this is about to be gross. She used to, when she would have her period, she wouldn't wrap her tampon that had already been used in toilet paper, and she would just put it in the trash, like the bathroom trash, not wrapped up, nothing. And then if she would leak on herself, she would soak her drawers in the dabbling sink, okay, and hang them on the bathroom door handle. Gross. Not only that, but she also ended up stealing a bunch of my clothes and stuff, but that's just an extra detail. So yeah, guys, that is the story of my roommate from hell, the worst roommate I've ever had. And I probably missed quite a bit of details through that. This has been a long time ago. But I think it's important to tell, especially with all these kids graduating now and probably about to be moving in together, and you think that's your best homegirl ever. You all been friends since whatever, 3rd grade. Okay, this was my best homegirl too, and it ended up trash, horrible, bad. So just make sure that you're sure of who you're moving in with. Make sure that you all have everything spoke about, decided on, agreed upon before you move in together. You know, take the time to really, really map that crap out. You know, don't put everything in your dabbling name. Don't make that mistake like I did, because then at the end of the day, it's your responsibility. It's not theirs. So it's really easy for them to just walk away when it's not their responsibility. And then, like with Pam, she had the water bill in her name. So then when I wanted to move it into my name, it was a hassle. I had to get a paper from my landlord. He ended up even having to come down there and prove that Pam was no longer living there. Pam also got my water shut off. Thanks, girl, for that. Because, of course, she wasn't living there anymore. So she did make sure to take the time to call the water company and say, hey, guys, yeah, I'm not living there anymore. Can you please shut my best friend's water off? So, yeah, just take the time. So, yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Also, I've been watching my analytics here on YouTube, and it's telling me that over 50% of you all are swinging by and not subscribing. What's up with that? What's up with that? Why are you doing that for? So, if you haven't already, please subscribe. We have a lot of fun here. I promise you. It's beauty, it's lifestyle, and it's story times. Trust me, all my social media is flooded with, oh, story time, story time. So yeah, if you like this story time, please like this video. And if you have an idea of like what you want to see or a video recommendation, please leave it down in the comment section down below. Yeah, I'm so thankful for the ones of y'all who have subscribed already. Don't forget that when we reach 100 subscribers, that we will be doing a giveaway. So subscribe. You have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose. All right, guys. I love you guys. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I hope it entertains you. And I will see you all in the next video.